What's good, everyone? So today I'm going to be talking about how to build a cult-like following for your personal brand on Instagram. And by the end of this video, you would have figured out how to do that for your business. Doesn't matter the niche, doesn't matter who you are, your personality, your story, doesn't matter. It should work for you as long as you take action on the steps I'm about to give to you. So before we get into it, if you're serious about growing your personal brand, you're about growing it, about monetizing it, about building a cult following, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment on booking a call with me. Book a call and let's just see if you're a good fit to work together, because if there's anything that I don't love to do more is to help people and to actually see results with them. So anyway, enough chatter. The first thing that you need to get a cult-like following for your personal brand, doesn't matter where you're starting out, is the mindset. You got to approach things with your mindset first, otherwise you're gonna set yourself up for failure. It's like the foundations of a house. If you have wonky foundations, if you have weak foundations, then it's gonna be a matter of time until you fall apart. So the mindset, what's the mindset that you need to go into this? Well, you gotta be willing to put yourself out there. And I know that's cliche, you probably expected that, but when I was just starting out, I was one of the biggest introverts. I was extremely shy, I was extremely insecure, and I just did not want to put myself out there. That was the last thing that I wanted to do, was putting my life out there, putting my opinions out there, and putting any sort of value that I had, which I didn't know at the time because the insecurities, I didn't want to put it out there online. But I knew if I wanted to grow, if I wanted to get to that next step of entrepreneurship, if I wanted to see some growth, that was the sacrifice I had to make. I had to sacrifice my comfort zone of being shelled up for so long that I have to now put myself out there. And look what it did now, okay? I'm not saying I've built anything big, but it's helped me overcome a lot of those insecurities and a lot of the camera shyness that I initially started with on my journey. So that was awesome. Best decision, or one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, was starting to put myself out there online and sharing any tips, any value on entrepreneurship. Even though I was just starting out, I was no authority. I didn't want people making fun of me, so I also had to sacrifice that comfort as well. So I want you to get out of your comfort zone. How many more years are you gonna wait until you decide to take that leap? How long are you going to wait? Because you probably said the same thing last year and the year before that. Mindset first. Make sure you are willing to get out of your comfort zone, and I'm here for you. I'm here for you, and you'll soon realize that people do not care about what you're doing. So there's nothing to worry about. Okay? Mindset. Get the right mindset in before you start, or even during your start. Attention is the second thing. You need to know where you're looking. You need to know, who exactly am I trying to attract? What kind of person am I trying to attract? And I didn't say people. Notice I didn't say people. I didn't say target audience. I said person. And that's because one of my mentors gave one of the best pieces of advice that I'm going to implement moving forward. What I used to do before was try and target a lot of people, a target audience. Maybe entrepreneurs, content creators. You got to target one person, whether that's your younger self or just a person you have in mind, and that person's got to be your dream client. You got to imagine this person being an absolute dream. You can get them results, you can help them out, and you think they'll just consume your content and binge watch it over and over again. It has to be one person, not two people, one person. So have them in mind. You got to know who they are inside out. You got to know what they're struggling with, what keeps them up at night, what they enjoy doing, and where they hang out. Ask these kind of probing questions, and the more detail you go into it, the better. You're gonna have an easier time finding these people, and then you want to start making content around everything you've written about this person, this one person. I can't stress this enough. One person. That's how you build a cult following, is if you know that one person inside out more than they do themselves. Not instead of trying to be a generalist, targeting a bunch of people and hoping for the best, and just being really shallow about it. Okay, so target one person, know what's going through their head, and then play to that. And then soon enough, you're going to be attracting people like them. Next thing is attention. That's exactly how I got one of my clients from 300 followers to about 12k followers in 90 days. That's one of the biggest reasons why, because he had one person in mind who he wanted to help and just made content around that. So that's the second thing. First one, mindset. Second thing is attention. Now the third thing I have is positioning. And what that basically means is, how are you positioned compared to the competition? How are you positioned amongst your peers, amongst your industry, and how are you really going to stand out? Without getting too complicated, don't worry. All you have to do to position yourself correctly is to tell your story. You want to tell your story, because again, this is why I said mindset was the first thing you need to establish, because if you're not going to be comfortable putting yourself out online, how else are you going to be comfortable sharing your story, getting quite vulnerable, in fact, with your past and your upbringing? Because people care about that. People pay attention to it, and it brings the right people closer to you, and more opportunities open up. So let me give you some concrete examples. So another one of my mentors, this is a different guy this time. Another one of my mentors, he always brings up this story of how he went through a house fire with his family, and his family usually was well off. You know, they didn't have little to no financial troubles. They were like your average middle-class family, right? So nothing really went wrong. And then all of a sudden, they got hit with this massive house fire. It was a complete shock to the system, a shock to the family, and they pretty much had to start not all over again, but it was a big shock. And my mentor said that when that happened, he lost all his photography gear, because he used to be a photographer, but then he also felt the need to step up as a man, and step up for the family and take care of them, so that things like this never happen again. So that's one of the stories. Another story that sticks out. It's from a guy you probably know called Iman Gadzhi, huge influencer, huge, he's one of the first people to really introduce SMMA to me and a lot of other people. So, and you know his story if you're familiar with him, right? He was in Russia. He's from Russia, moved here from a very, very young age. He was dirt poor in Russia, but moved here. He moved in actually a wealthy part of London. But what really stuck out was he was poor. Like, his family was poor, but he was living in a rich part of London. He even went to private school. So while that sounds good on paper, he really just stuck out like a sore thumb. He really just didn't fit in, and he was always being made fun of for like being poor. And when he was just getting started as an entrepreneur, what he used to do was meditate, and he used to meditate in the toilets, because there was no better time to do it. There was no other time to meditate. And he was stacking all these positive actions, but then he got caught in the toilet meditating, and you can imagine how embarrassing that must have been for him, right? So if you're willing to go that deep into your story, like get really vulnerable and really have like those, what my mentor like to calls 2 a.m. conversations with your following, that's going to draw them even closer. Yes, it might be a bit uncomfortable getting into that side, but it's only going to do good things for you, potential clients, and the people that follow you. It's going to do so good. With my story, I got into entrepreneurship because I was I was an outcast, or I was just a loser, man. In secondary school or in high school, I was such a loser. I didn't have any purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. I was even in a really solid friend group, and then fell out of the friend group, and then I just had to find something to make me happy, because I was quite in a dark time of my life. I moved schools a lot, so I kind of found it hard to make friends. So I needed something to take my attention, and that thing that took my attention was entrepreneurship. I started looking ways to make money online. Next thing you know, I stumbled upon a couple YouTube videos showing you how to grow on Instagram. Learn how to do that. Grew my first theme page from scratch to 30k followers in 9 months. Monetized off it as well. Pretty good, made a pretty good amount. And yeah, this is where I'm at now, just really teaching people how to do the same thing, but not for theme pages. No, I'm trying to aim for something bigger. So that's the story, that's the positioning. And the thing about positioning is no one can copy your story. You're a one of one. So use that to your advantage, and that's how you stick out in a like saturated market. The last thing I want to talk about is conversions. So how do you turn the people that you attracted, the cult-like following that you have, how do you turn that into cold hard cash? You need to come up with an offer that you think will benefit them the most. So most people, they'll go the coaching route. Some people will make an ebook and then sell it. Some people will make low ticket products and sell it. Personally, I have a coaching program and you can choose to do the same. But the key is, right, and I'll give you another example from my life. 2 to 3 months after starting my personal brand, I was able to sign my first 2 high ticket clients. And that was after starting an SMMA, a social media marketing agency, for like a year and a half and getting nowhere, literally nowhere, no clients, did not know what I was doing. And I was just I was switching through niches because the truth was I wasn't confident in my service. I wasn't confident in what I brought to the table. And then that's why I just absolutely hated running a social media marketing agency. And then that's why I went back to my roots to Instagram growth. Because remember when I said earlier, I was growing theme pages on Instagram, right? I wanted to do something like that, but slightly different. So that's exactly what I did. Start of 2021. That's when I started it. I started pumping out YouTube videos, went crazy on Instagram with the content, and lo and behold, 60 days later, first client. And to this day, still working together and pretty happy. That's my way of converting them. You might have your own way. You need to come up with your own way of doing it. And there will be more videos about that coming soon. So stay tuned. Let's recap what I said. So first thing, mindset. Have the right mindset going into it. You know, be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to go out of your comfort zone. So the second thing is attention. You know, where is that one person, that one dream client hiding? That one true fan, where is he hiding? Where is he or she hiding? Go, and you have to find a way to find them and get your page in front of them. The third thing is positioning. So how are you positioning yourself amongst the other 1,000 people in your niche? Are you telling your story? Are you opening up? Are you relatable? So that's positioning. That's the third one. And then the fourth and final piece of a cult-like personal brand is conversion. So how are you going to turn those followers into dollars or pounds, whatever your currency is? So that's it for this video. I'm gonna wrap up. And again, if you're serious about growing your personal brand, monetizing it in 2022 on Instagram, book a call down below. I'll see if you're a good fit for my one-to-one coaching program, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and even if you don't pay me a dime or do anything, I just genuinely hope and sincerely hope that you got value out of this, because this is something I've been meaning to talk about for a long time. You just felt impacted or just walked away with much more clarity on what you need to do. So that's it. I'm Matt. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new, and book a call if you really want to. So that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.